The question here is, who has the legal right to sign a consent form for CS? Be mindful of the word legal right, not social right, legal right. Before I will give a direct answer to this as to whether it is the woman, her husband, family members, or the medical practitioner, which of these people have the legal right to give consent for CS? Now, take note of this. The law on CS in Nigeria, or the practice of CS in Nigeria, is governed by three major laws and court decisions. The first one is the Constitution of Nigeria. The second one is the Nigeria Health Act. And the third one is the Ethics of Medical Practice in Nigeria. These three major laws governs issues around health and healthcare. What are these laws saying? These laws are saying that every person have a right to bodily autonomy, meaning whatever happens to you from your head to your toe, you as an individual, you have the sole right to decide what happens to you. And this comes into play when it comes to CS. If you take your time to read the Ethics of Medical Practice and the Nigeria Health Act, it is specifically stated there that it is the sole decision of the woman to decide and give consent to CS. No other person can give consent on the woman's behalf. It is the woman's decision to make. And the law also requires medical practitioners to explain to the woman what the CS is about, the likely risk that are associated with the procedure, her chances of survival, if there are other options available. All of this information are to be made known to the woman, and the woman will think about it and decide whether she wants to go in for it or not. When the woman decides to go in for it, the consent form will be given to the woman to sign. It is the woman's decision to make. Now, where the partner, the husband, the family members can sign the consent form are in this instance below the age of 18. Meaning this person is not old enough to make decisions for themselves. In that instance, the family members, the closest relatives to the child, will sign the consent form on behalf of the child. Or where the woman involved is insane, cannot make decisions for herself, she's not of sound mind, then the family members or the medical practitioner can take this decision. Where it is an emergency situation and the woman is unconscious and unable to sign the consent form, the husband can be allowed to sign in this instance. But within 24 hours of the woman regaining consciousness, the medical practitioner, not the husband, the medical practitioner is expected to disclose this to the woman that see, you were so unconscious and there was a need for someone to sign this. And in special circumstances, the medical practitioner is the one to sign the consent form, and not just the medical practitioner. The law provides that the most senior medical practitioner in that health institution is the person to sign the consent form. Where a consent form is given to someone else to sign other than the woman in question, the woman can take legal actions against the medical practitioner, against the health facility, and against her husband for infringing on her rights. The courts have also held in series of cases that when you want to give consent form to a woman, don't give it to the woman where she's in severe pain, because in the heat of contraction, the woman's mind is not stable to make certain decisions. Her decisions might not be what she wants to make. That is why it is advisable, according to the law, that in the course of antenatal, when the woman is coming for antenatal, that is the right time to educate women on CS. Get women to sign consent form ahead of time, even though at that moment it is not certain whether they will be requiring the procedure or not. That is when they are supposed to sign the consent form for CS. Whether they use it in the end or not, it's fine, but it is required that they sign the consent form. Mind you, there is a particular kind of consent form that is recognized in Nigeria. If you go to a private hospital or any hospital and they give you a consent form that is not the one that is recognized by law in Nigeria, then the medical practitioner cannot come out to say you have signed the consent form. You can take actions, and where a woman takes action for this can amount to forced sterilization. And in this instance, the medical practitioner can lose his medical license to practice. He can also go to jail for this. The woman's husband can also go to jail for this. Mind you, I am not just saying things the way they are. This is the law. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. The fact that you are in Nigeria, husbands have been signing it. Husbands have just been going scot-free because their wives do not know their legal rights. And many medical practitioners have also been going against the law because people are not taking actions. Myself, I've been involved in a case where a woman's womb was removed through the authorization of her husband. And when she realized that, it was 2 years later that she got to know that she had no womb when she was trying to conceive again. She went for scan and discovered it. This woman, I was part of this case, not that I heard of it. I was part of this case. The woman's husband and the medical practitioner were sued for infringing on her right to bodily autonomy, her right to decide whether she wants to consent to CS or not. And also, where a woman says she does not want CS, and you know that CS is very, very relevant, the law also says that you have to respect the decision of the woman. For as long as she's old enough to decide for herself, you cannot go contrary to her decision. So in conclusion, it is the woman's legal right to sign the consent form, not the husband, not the family members, and not the medical practitioner, except in all of the instances that I've given to you. So please know this and avoid yourself falling into trouble because you're claiming ignorance. Mind you, ignorance of the law is not an excuse.